What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some insanely entertaining battles as I'm bringing back the roulette wheel, except this time instead of running glass cannons, I'm actually going to be using spicy XL Pokemon. The wheel currently has 27 different XL Pokemon on it, but I am constantly working on more spicy XL picks for the Open Great League, so if you'd like to see me do this again, I will be looking to add more options next time. These battles were done against my subscribers, and if you're wondering how you can participate in a video like this, I do actually give my friend code out, but you have to participate in the Battle of Spice competition that I hold every time there's a Go Battle day / weekend or week. So definitely look out for that and get involved if you can. As always, I asked my subscribers to bring spicy teams, and if they had any random XL Pokemon built, to bring those too, and you'll see that a few of these trainers even outspice me, so these battles are absolutely insane. And with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What other themes would you like to see me bring to the roulette wheel in the future? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so we are spinning the wheel for the first time, and our first pick is going to be Frillish. Some of these Pokemon are going to be fully XL level 50, others will just be XL'd enough to make it to 1500 CP, like Litleo as our second choice, and our third pick is going to be a level 50 Doduo. So going into the first battle, we're going to see a Kingler in the lead, so unfortunately this isn't great for me since I am running Bubble. I ran Bubble for the Retro Cup on my Frillish, and that is resisted, although you wouldn't know it up against this Kingler, because we are still dealing quite a lot of damage. Even Ominous Wind, which is notoriously an awful charge move, does huge damage to the Kingler, as Kingler isn't very, well, is not bulky at all. It is incredibly glassy. They're going to go for the back-to-back Crab Hammers, taking out the Frillish, but I can come in, go for a full quick attack farm down with my Doduo, and Doduo, if you didn't know, is also incredibly attack weighted, so I'm going to full send the Brave Bird here. Brave Bird unfortunately grabs a shield from the opponent. We swap into Litleo, and the opponent counter swaps with a Scyther, which is certainly not the right play. We can just safely shield up the Night Sash. I'm going for the Incinerate farm down. It only took 4 Incinerates to take out a Scyther from full health. We can now go for a Flame Charge, boosting up our attack. Now going to go for a Crunch here, fishing for a debuff since they will be able to take me out, but we might be able to drop their defense. We don't get the defense drop, but honestly, it does not matter. They're going to full send a Skull Bash, taking out the Litleo, but I can come in, go for a Drill Peck, and Drill Peck will easily be enough damage to take out the Bouffalon, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there into the second spinning of the wheel, and we're going to see Pawniard as our first pick. So Pawniard, probably one of the more meta picks that I've got. The next one is going to be Carablast, and I've actually run a team fairly recently with both Pawniard and Carablast together, and the third pick is going to be Slowpoke. So let's go into battle number 2. We're going to see Infernape as the first pick. This is really not ideal. I'm going to swap into my Carablast. The opponent responds with a Shadow Armaldo. Now we do lose CMP. Armaldo also quite a glassy Pokemon. They go for Cross Poison. I could live that, but I wanted to be safe. We're going to go for an X-Scissor, and X-Scissor does huge damage to the Armaldo there, so I'm able to get the Fury Cutter farm down. They come back in with the Infernape. We can go straight for a Drill Run here, and Drill Run is going to be no shielded by the Infernape. We just fully one-shot the Infernape, and actually I kind of didn't want that because Slowpoke can completely wall the Infernape, although I guess judging from the opponent's picks here, they're probably running Solar Beam as the other charge move. But now I'm going to go for a Night Sash here. They are at, I believe, 7 hexes, so I'm going to swap after 8 hexes as they do reach 100 energy or thereabouts. So Shadow Ball, they told me that they undercharged that, although you wouldn't know it because that still did huge damage there. We're now going to shield this up. They could be running Focus Blast, so I will respect damage. They go for another Shadow Ball bait. I actually don't know for certain if they are running Focus Blast, but we go for a Night Sash. The opponent lets it go down there, and I'm able to take that game. So I don't think they would have made it to a Focus Blast anyways, so that's why they just let the charge move go through. But into the next spinning of the wheel, we're going to get Spinder as our first Pokemon. The second one is going to be a Krokorok, which I did power up fairly recently, and the final Pokemon is going to be Joltik. So Joltik is certainly not a great Pokemon, but you're going to see this is MEJP2, who is absolutely outspicing me here as they lead with a Swablu. Are you kidding me? We're now going to go for an Icy Wind. Icy Wind will hit for super effective damage, but it tanks that pretty well. But considering we've just debuffed their attack, they are only 925 CP. They're clearly not going to hit very hard. Now, I will admit, I was actually answering the door here as someone delivered something for my mum at the time, so I wasn't actually paying full attention to what they were doing here. So I'm going to shield this up. It is just going to be a triple axle, and I think they do just go straight triple axle in this matchup, so no real reason for me to shield. But like I said, I was answering the door, and everything takes a lot longer to do whilst you're trying to battle with one hand and also pick up a package with the other hand. So here, I'm going to let the move go through here, but they are double debuffed, although triple axle also going to boost their attack once again. We're going to try and snipe with these sucker punches from the XL Joltik, but unfortunately, we're not quite able to do so. I'm going to shield once again. Triple axle probably wouldn't do too much damage, and then they come in with Marini. They're then going to try and swap and catch the move onto the Swablu. I'm taking no risk. I go for the discharge, taking out the Swablu, and now I can fire off a discharge into the Marini, and this discharge is going to do huge damage to the Marini. And I could have gone for the cross poison there, probably one CMP as well, but the opponent goes for a sludge wave, and I will just reveal that I'm also running Krokorok, but my opponent easily outspiced me in that game, so GG's to that opponent there. And by the way, MEJP2 does also make content and runs incredibly spicy stuff like that all the time, so definitely go check out their channel. But into the next team, we're going to see a Lowland Sandshrew, a Bayleaf, and a Shadow Ghastly. I think it was a Shadow Bayleaf as well, but here, pretty good lead leading into Gyarados, and you're going to see the worst thing we could possibly see for this team as they swap into a Pyroar, normal typing, resisting the lick damage. Ghastly goes down in 3 Incinerates. That's ridiculous, and we've got 2 Pokemon that are either double weak or at least single weak to the fire typing, so this is absolutely awful for me. This is already game over. I'm going to let the move go through as they double boost their attack. Flame Charge easily one-shots us. We come in with the Sandshrew, and yeah, they can just very easily incinerate, farm me down, and that was a bit of a joke of a game, but GG's to that opponent there. And don't worry, you will get to see some of these teams in action again, because I did get more battles than just the 9 battles that would be 1 for each team, so you will be able to see that team in action later in the video. But into the next game, we're going to see Caterpie Queen running probably a triple bug team again, which is not ideal for my Execute, so I'm going to swap out there. Just stayed in to see what fast move they're running, and they're running Struggle Bug, which is not a very good move, but up against Execute, which is double weak to Bug, it is going to hit for big, super effective damage. Now, I'm not entirely sure what charge moves they could run. They go for a Thunderbolt, that is going to be neutral damage, and that does quite a lot of damage there. We're going to go for a Body Slam. I'm hoping they just let this move go through, but they do shield it up, and they will be able to resist it. Struggle Bug, farm me down there. I still don't know what the second charge move is. I don't want to come in because it's probably a bug type move, so I'm going to shield this up as the opponent's going to go for a Signal Beam bait. Luckily, they don't get any debuffs, and we do get the Karate Chop farm down, but let's see what the opponent wants to do. They are going to come in with a Carablast of their own. I'm going to go straight for the return. If they let this go through, this is going to do huge damage, so they do respect the damage there. And I should be able to live anything they throw reasonably comfortably. And the opponent's going to go for an Air Release. Air Release, I was not expecting that. And now, I don't think I would even make it to a return. So I'm going to go for the Cross Chop. That is resisted damage, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to go and try and go for a Confusion Farm down here. The opponent's going to fire off the X's. So can we get the Confusion Farm down? No, we are barely not able to do so. And I felt like I had to go for the farm down there because they've definitely got another bug type in the back, and we're going to see it is Illumise, and they're able to once again Struggle Bug, farm me down, and take that game. So GG's to that opponent, very cool, triple shiny bug team. But into the next spinning of the wheel, we're going to see Nidorina as the first pick. XL Salandit, which I've got in brackets as male, it doesn't really matter, but male can't evolve, so that's what makes it kind of cool. But into the next battle, we are going to see a Tyrant in the lead. We are running Cubchoo, and it's kind of funny because the only other person I've ever seen run Cubchoo in the Go Battle League, in the Great League anyway, is going to be this opponent, Fly Gonna Get You. We're going to go straight for the Icy Wind, and the opponent is going to let the move go through. They grab an early shield advantage. They then come in with a Magnemite level 50. And by the way, we do also have a Shadow Magnemite coming in a future battle, so the opponent's going to then give up switch advantage, and this is absolutely huge for me because all I need to do here is come out with a Dig loaded and then swap into my Salandit. Salandit will be able to completely wall the energy here, so I'm going to go for a Poison Fang, building up to the Poison Fang and a Dig, then swap into my Salandit, and we should just be able to fully Ember farm them down from this range, and we should be looking pretty good. So I'm going to let the move go through as they go for a Flamethrower. That still does some decent damage there, but we get the farm down, and the opponent needs to make it to back-to-back charge moves. Otherwise, I will be able to just go for a Poison Fang here, grabbing the final shield from the opponent. And honestly, I can just shield this up. The Ember will go through, and it will easily take out the Magnemite, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into the next game, and we're going to see Hisuian Growlithe as the first pick. The second pick is going to be Dwebble, so double rock type team so far. And the third and final pick for this team is going to be the Shadow Magnemite that I mentioned in the previous battle. Here I'm going to lead with the Magnemite running double rock in the back, and we pick up an incredible lead for us. Bombardier, and the opponent's going to safe swap into Cherrim, so I'm going to try and swap catch the Weather Ball there onto my Growlithe, but unfortunately I'm not able to do so. Gonna shield this up, and the opponent full sends a Solar Beam, so we do correctly shield that up. That is really good news for us. Now we do have a shield disadvantage, but a huge energy advantage, and we know that Rock Slide is also going to hit for super effective damage, so this is still a pretty good position to be in. We go for the Rock Slide, grabbing the shield from the opponent, and we make it to a second Rock Slide before they fire off a charge move, so we grab both shields from the opponent, and they also have to full send a payback to take us out as a Fly is resisted. They do full send the payback, and now they're going to come in with another Cherrim form, this time the Overcast form. We're going to go straight for the Magnet Bomb. This is going to do huge damage. It will put them into range where we can just smack down, farm them down with the Dwebble. I can no shield. I don't think this version does run Solar Beam. Then just go for a Dazzling Gleam, and I can make it to an X-Scissor. I'm going to be honest, I forgot that X-Scissor and Rock Blast now cost the same energy, but it doesn't matter. X-Scissor still takes out the Bombardier, and we're able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Lombre as the first Pokemon. Flabébé, that was in my smallest Pokemon theme team that I did run. And the third and final Pokemon will be Chinchou. So going into the battle, we're going to see a Seismitoad, so an amazing lead for us. The opponent safe swaps into Conkeldurr. A little bit slow to swap, but I swap into my Flabébé, and this is actually a pretty positive matchup. I'm going to shield, respect the Stone Edge, and the opponent does full send a Stone Edge, so now I can't overfarm here. We're now going to go for a Psychic. This is non-stab, but honestly, Conkeldurr in the Great League is very glassy, so we take it out there quite comfortably. And now the opponent is recognizing that we're actually running Vine Whip as the fast move, so we're dealing double super effective damage. We go for a Dazzling Gleam, and the opponent uses their shield. They're going to overfarm just a little bit, go for a charge move, and the opponent is going to go for the Earth Power to take out our Flabébé, and then they instantly swap into Electivire. Now this is a bit of a tricky matchup here, but Chinchou is still pretty bulky. This is a non-shadow Electivire, so we do barely live that. I thought about going for a Thunderbolt, but honestly they're probably just going to shield anyways, so we go for the Bubble Beam, grabbing the final shield from the opponent. We debuff their attack. We barely miss out on a second Bubble Beam, but I should be able to live this. I feel like they're quite likely to bait, and they do bait with the Ice Punch, so now I can just go for a full Bubble Farm down. Gonna shield the next charge move here as they go for an Ice Punch bait once again. They swap back into Seismitoad, but I outpace them to the Grass Knot. Grass Knot easily takes out the Seismitoad, and I'm able to Bubble, farm down the Electivire, and take that game. And into the final spinning of the wheel. Honestly, we don't need to do this. We already know the team, but just for the sake of it, we're going to see Shadow Drillbur, Teddiursa, and the final Pokemon is going to be my shiny Shadow Nuzleaf. So let's go into that battle. We see an amazing lead for the Shadow Drillbur as they lead with a shiny Shadow Weezing. They're going to swap into Tirtouga, and I didn't realize I was running Razor Leaf on this Nuzleaf, which is really unfortunate for the opponent, but kind of hilarious as we just completely hard wall them so far. They are actually running Infestation as the fast move, so they're dealing double super effective damage. I'm going for the foul play, and the opponent actually no shields that. They said to me after the battle that they did mean to shield it, but Niantic was just like, nope. But I don't think it matters really too much. Anyways, they come in with a shiny Shadow, I can't even remember what this thing's called, Bellsprout, and they nuke me with a Power Whip, but I'm able to Mud Slap, farm them down, and take that game. And now we're just going to go into some more bonus battles as we see a Shadow Slowking in the lead up against our Spinder. I was hoping it was going to be Confusion because then Krokorok does have a pretty decent matchup too, but unfortunately they are running Water Gun, so I'm actually going to stay in this matchup. The opponent is going to overfarm quite a lot, so I will respect the damage here as the opponent goes for a Scald, not a Surf, which is interesting, but they don't get the debuff, which is pretty good for me. I'm now going to go for a Dig, taking out the Slowking, and the opponent comes in with a Kangaskhan. Now this isn't too good for me. I'm going to go for an Icy Wind here, hopefully grab a shield, and Icy Wind does actually grab a shield there. I'm now going to swap. I was hoping I was going to catch a move, but the opponent comes in with an XL Amora here. We're going to shield this move. I don't think I would be able to live that as Krokorok isn't that bulky. We're now going to go for a Crunch. Honestly, I'd prefer if they do shield, but they no shield. They're going to come in with the Kangaskhan. They're probably running Power Up Punch, and if they are, this is pretty much game over because Kangaskhan will easily be able to take out a Joltik. So I'm I've got to be careful about how I play this out. I'm going to come in with the Joltik. I'm hoping that my switch clock comes up in time, and it does, but the opponent throws on the CMP tie, winning CMP. Power punch will be taking out the Spender, and now, unfortunately, there's nothing we can do here. I just have to let the charge move go through, and we actually live the crunch there, but they will be able to munch that, farm me down, and unfortunately, I do lose that game. But GG's. Going into the next game, we're going to see the Sandshrew once again. This time a very good lead, and the opponent's going to save swap into a Starmie. So I actually don't know, well, I should know what charge moves it has, as I've seen multiple Home-Size Henry videos of his Quick Attack Legacy 100% IV Starmie in the Master Premier Cup, nuking opponents with Ice Beam and Thunder. But we're now going to come in with the Ghastly, going to go for an Ominous Wind. This should be grabbing a shield, and look at that lick damage. That is absolutely chunking the Parasect. And also, I should now be able to come in with my Alolan Sandshrew, go for a full Powder Snow farm down, and I don't think they've got enough for the Solar Beam, so I let it go through. They come in with a Shadow Aerodactyl, so I'm going to fire off the charge move here, hoping to grab a shield. We've grabbed the final shield, and now we can just swap into my Shadow Bayleaf, and I should be able to just fully Magical Leaf farm them all the way down at this point, and I will be able to come out with an Ancient Power loaded to throw into the Parasect coming back in, and this will hit for super effective damage. It will be taking out the Parasect, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see MEJP2 once again, and we've got Battle of the Purified Pokemon as they lead with a Voltorb into my Execute. So a pretty good matchup for me, since I do resist the spark damage. They do fire off a charge move. It is the return that does quite a lot of damage, but I'm going to commit to the full Confusion farm down. We get the farm down in time, and now they come in with an XL Vulpix. So once again, MEJP2 outspicing me, and another Purified Pokemon. And the final Pokemon is going to be Fomantis, only 838 CP. That is absolutely ridiculous. We go for the Body Slam, grabbing a shield from the opponent. I can just safely let this go through. Leaf Blade isn't going to do too much damage there. I will be able to make it to another Body Slam, and this will be enough damage to take them out from this range. So I'm actually going to undercharge it just slightly, hoping that means I can make it to a Body Slam up against the Vulpix, or just force them to throw their energy. So they do throw the energy, Weather Ball takes me out, but I can easily come in with the Machop, go for the Karate Chop farm down, and I'm able to take that game. And into another battle up against MEJP2. This time, Shadow Magnemite into Eevee. Now, I've got to be very careful because Eevee does learn Dig, and Dig would nuke basically all of my team, apart from my Dwebble here. So I'm going to shield this up. It is just an Ominous Wind. That wouldn't do too much damage, even from a Ghastly, because Ominous Wind is just a really bad move. They're now going to come in with a Meltan, so unfortunately, they will resist everything we can throw here. But X-Scissor still does a lot of damage. They are only 1200 CP, to be fair to them. But I do believe this thing learns Flash Cannon, so Flash Cannon is going to nuke the Dwebble. We come in with the Growlithe, we get the Ember farm down, and now we should be looking pretty good here. All I have to do is grab both shields from my opponent. If they bait with a Body Slam and go for a Dig, we might be in trouble here. But I go for the Crunch, I get the debuff, and honestly, I can probably just Volt Switch farm them down at this point. But I'm going to use my shield anyways. They full send the Dig, we shield it up, we can go for a Rock Slide, and all we have to do here is not swap out of this matchup, force the opponent to go for a second Dig, and then we can fire off a charge move. But they actually bait with the Body Slam, so I swap there, and then I over tap. I nearly throw this game away, but this will be enough damage to take out the Eevee, and I'm able to take that game. So going into the next battle, we're going to see Shadow Drillbur into a Xatu. So this is not good for us whatsoever. I'm going to swap. I thought they were lagging, but actually it was just visual lag. They definitely are getting those air slashes through. Going to shield this up, and the opponent actually based with an Ominous Wind, so I don't know what their secondary charge move is, but obviously they could have just gone for the Aerial Ace, which is cheaper. So I don't really know why they did that, but we can just go for the Trailblaze, boosting our attack, and now I'm going to go for a Cross Chop. Cross Chop grabs the second shield from the opponent. They've double shielded. We've got a Shadow Ground type Pokemon. I'm just going to no shield here, and the opponent is going to Trailblaze. One shot the Shadow Drillbur there, but I'm able to razorly farm them down with my Shadow Nuzleaf, and they've got a Shadow Misdreavus in the back, so I'm just going to try and make sure the opponent doesn't make the catch here. I'm expecting them to swap out after firing off a charge move, so we go for the foul play. It is a Xatu coming back in, and this will be enough damage to easily take out the Shadow Xatu, and I can razorly farm down the Misdreavus and take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into the next game, we're going to see a a Purified Leap in the lead. So the opponent's going to save swap into Onyx, and this is not ideal for me. I'm just going to have to stay in, at least initially, deal as much damage as I can with the Powder Snows and the Icy Winds, but they get to a charge move here. They've got quite a few different moves they could throw. They go for Breaking Swipe. I completely forgot about that, but we're going to go for the Icy Wind here, debuffing their attack, swapping into my Nidorina, and they are purified, and I do recognize this team actually from one of the Battle of Spies videos, so I feel like this is going to be a triple purified, triple return team. So I fire off the dig there, playing it safe, didn't want to get hit by a return, and then the opponent comes in with a normal, so we're going to go for the dig grabs a shield from the opponent, and if they're smart, they will make a catch onto the Lileep. Really nice play by the opponent, and Lileep is a pretty bulky Pokemon. It tanks that very well. We're going to fire for Poison Fang here. I was expecting them to throw straight away, but once again, they're probably just running return, so I'm going to let this move go through, and the opponent is going to full send the return there, taking out the Nidorina. And now we can just come in with our Saland here. I don't know if they are going to be running Ancient Power, so I'm actually going to swap here. Try to play it safe, but that might be a mistake here as the opponent gets the farm down with the normal, and I don't know if they are running a second charge move or if this is just going to be another return from the opponent. It is another return. We can now just go for the Flamethrower, and Flamethrower is resisted damage, but it takes out the normal, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there, and into the next battle, and the final battle of this video, I do believe. We're going to see Scolipede in the lead, so once again expecting triple bugs from Caterpie Queen, as it is pretty much all that she does is run bugs. And this is pretty good this time for me because I've got a Litleo and a Doduo in the back. We've also got a Pokemon in the front that does resist bug type damage in the form of Frillish, so looking pretty good here. I'm going to full send the Ice Beam, dealing big damage. Go for the snipe here, unfortunately not able to do so. If this is a superpower, then fair play, but it is luckily just an X-Scissor, so I do live that quite comfortably. And then they come in with a Venonat, which is really cool to see. And then I just felt really bad for using a Fire type up against their triple bug team, so I'm actually going to let them take me out here with the confusion damage, and now it is a slightly more even game. But actually, this is going to be quite tricky. You can see Doduo doesn't tank these confusions very well, and as well, they're going to go for a Poison Fang, debuffing my defense. They come back in with the Scolipede. I'm going to go for the Drill Peck here. I want to make it 2 back-to-back Drill Pecks before they get off the next charge move, and we do get there in time, and now this should be fairly comfortable. Drill Peck takes out the Scolipede, and I can just quick attack, farm down the Venonat, and take that game. Actually, no, this is going to be the final battle of the video. We see Execute into Shadow Gyarados. So we've already seen Shadow Gyarados in the lead, so I was fully expecting it to be the Pyroll in the back. This time we got 2 fighting types in the back, so we should be looking a lot better. But the opponent goes for an Aqua Tail bait. I'm going to overfarm here, go for a Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb should be enough damage to quite easily take them out, and the opponent just lets the Gyarados go down, and now they come in with a Lunatone. So this is not ideal for me as they are running Confusion. I'm going to fire off a Seed Bomb, then I'm going to swap into my Pancham, and honestly, I don't know why, but I'm going to go for a bait here. I should just go straight for a crunch. The opponent baits me with the Rock Slide as well, so they grab my final shield. I'm hoping I can make it to back-to-back Body Slams if they shield, but they don't shield, and a crunch probably would have just taken them out. Now they come in with a Mud Slap Rhyperior. Honestly, I'd be looking pretty good right now if I just threw that crunch, but a stupid bait there is going to cost me, as now we're going to come in with the Machop, and I am going to hit for super effective damage with these Karate Chops. They didn't farm up too much there, so this is just going to be a Surf, which we do barely live, not that comfortably. I'm going to undercharge this, hoping to get 1 extra Karate Chop in for free, but I'm not able to do so, but I do at least make it to the Cross Chop here, and Cross Chop is going to go unshielded by the opponent. Now the opponent has to throw the energy here. Psychic will be taking out the Execute, and we are able to simultaneously KO. So that's gonna be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.